Hi, so welcome back to the Universal Heart. And today I'm joined by Gillian Hebert of Studio Gillian, a Northern Ontario artist and illustrator who has a playful heart, and her heartfelt work can be found in children's books, print design, and other creative spaces throughout the community. She works professionally in the print industry, is deeply involved in community, and has a genuine love for teaching and sharing creativity with others. Gillian brings honesty, humor, and real life experience into everything she creates, and this conversation is no different. It is full of laughs, truth, and unfiltered creative talk. So, I'd like to welcome our second guest to the Universal Heart, and that is Gillian Hebert, a very good and dear friend of mine. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Carrie. Good to see you again.
Not like we weren't talking 30 seconds ago, but
Yes, well.
hey. So, you have somebody on your lap. Let's introduce him to start with.
Yes, this is Cyrus. He is my shelter kitty I adopted. How old are you now? 8? 8 years ago. I got him. I got him in October of that year, but he was born in July, which I didn't know. So I actually thought he was a full grown cat when I got him. But he was not. So he
Oh,
grew quite a bit. So now he is um, my diabetic cat who is now in remission for diabetes,
oh
actually. Oh,
wow.
and that's Toby.
So, for those that don't know, you have Cyrus, Toby, and you also have a service dog named Ollie, who
Ollie
crashed on the couch.
on the couch, blending in with the famous Moogle. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
So,
Yeah.
for people that don't know, Ollie used to spend quite a bit of time with us in our studio and our gallery, and was good friends with my service dog Casper.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to start off with kind of an introduction question, and that is for the people who don't know you yet. How would you describe Studio Gillian, and how did you end up getting into the arts?
So let's start with how I got into it. I have always been creative, but I think most of my creativity comes from my mom, her mother, and the encouragement of my dad's mother. Um, like my earliest memory is like I can hold a paintbrush, sorta, but instead I'm standing on the table barefoot and painting with my feet at my grandma's, which is my dad's mom. Mamere is my mom's mom. So Mamere would teach me how to watercolor later on in life. So I started taking professional watercolor classes when I was 10 with the Sullivan Studio in Callender, which then led to more interest into the professional arts. So learning watercolor professionally and taking more art classes to then become more professional.
Mhm.
And since art has always been an escape for me, I find my creativity in nature around me, real life scenarios, and just everyday life. And though I didn't really fit in as a kid in school, like I didn't fit the social norms, uh, it was easier to create my own worlds than fit into the one that I was currently living. So it was a good escape that way.
I think a lot of artists kind of go through that, right? Because we're all kind of like creative, and yet we don't kind of gel with like what's
We don't fit
actually
the mold.
happening to us.
No, and I was bullied profusely for my little cartoons.
Mhm.
They'd go, "Oh, why am I that? Like, why are you drawing me?" And I'm like, "Well, you're nicer in my story."
Isn't that cool how you can use art to kind of like twist what the real world is and the
Yeah.
perception that you have of it?
I had a very divided opinion on my art. Like, some people really loved how creative I was, and then other people would just like use it against me.
Mm.
In that it would almost alienate me from them. Um, and then, so art also was a way of expressing myself. And, if I couldn't quite articulate, I
Mhm.
would use pictograms, right? Like pictures. So
Right.
it was easier that way.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
what pulled it from? What kind of made the shift as you grew and got older and kind of became an adult? Where did the shift come in from it being something that you kind of love to do to something that you needed to do? So, something that you need to have being part of your everyday life. Because I know you quite well. And I know you're never not creating. And I know that you're never not taking ordinary things and turning them into something.
Yeah.
Um, it's something I'm quite envious of. So when did that switch come from something that I love to something that you needed?
I don't know that there was ever really a switch, and it was more like you needed to make money. Do you like food on the table and a roof over your house? You
Gotcha.
gotta.
I know
um,
that all too well.
yeah, because I tried. I was gonna start. What did I start? I started high school co-op as chiropractics. I was gonna go and try to be a chiropractor, but then I tried massage therapy, and I tried physiotherapy, and then I went into veterinary sciences and professional grooming, and then I was like, you know what? People kind of suck in these fields. I'm gonna be honest. If people are sore or you're dealing with people who own animals, like it's just
It takes a certain kind of person to deal with it.
yeah, like and
it
people who can do it, fantastic. I don't have it in me. They're a different breed.
There's you wish you had like a crystal ball that you could go back and like, oh yeah, no, I'm not good at that. Oh yeah, I'm not good at that. Oh yeah, I suck at this. Hey, I'm good at
It
this.
wasn't that I wasn't good at it. I'm really good at it. I just didn't like it. That's the other thing is like my parents pushed me into lifeguarding because I'm good at it. I
Hmm.
didn't like it, and I was good at it.
I've
Cause
seen you jump off a really high diving board, so yeah, you're good at it,
well, but
right?
like I taught swim lessons, and I'm good at the teaching part, and I was good at the memorizing. Like I've been doing first aid since I was 10. Like if I don't ever have to read another first aid book, like I'm good. Like I've been doing it that long. Um but I'm good at it. Like the biology, the science, the exercising, the interacting with people. I just don't like it.
Right.
And I'm finding that as I'm getting older, I'm losing the patience to be the bath mat, if you will. Like I'm not letting people step on me as much. So
Right.
it there's a conflict of interest. So when I was in my first year of college for vet assistant and grooming, I took two courses at the same time. Don't do that. It sucked. But we had a 6-week strike while I was in college. So first of all, I had a lot of nothing happening. And then
Mm,
second of all, I didn't feel like I was getting the practical practice that I needed to move on to vet tech.
okay.
And then third, I don't like people who own animals. Like it's not the same as like people have children because you can't be like, yeah, you feed your dog and you brush it sometimes, but it's in a crate all day and it doesn't go for walks.
Hmm.
Or you want to put your animal to sleep just because it's annoying? Like,
Right.
there's
Not
a
a
lot of people like that. You can't just like return children, so why are you allowed to just return animals?
yeah. There's a lot of people that don't look at them as permanent fixtures or
And it
lifetime
just
commitments.
it kills me. I can't do it
Mhm.
because I'm also probably going to be the person who brings them all home.
Yeah.
Ugh. So we can't do that either. So while I was in college, I decided that artist isn't really one thing. It's not just going to be a job, especially in Northern Ontario. There's nothing here for us.
Right.
So unless you're in an environment where a lot of people have lots of money and they like to spend it, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But graphic design and web design and all that other stuff is going to be more potential because
Right.
everything's moving online, right? So here I'm like, okay, art, money, maybe. So that's where that kind of transition, and then deciding to go to Canadore for graphic design opened up, and it was close to home, so I did that instead.
Right. And people that don't know you don't realize how multidisciplinary you are in terms of your art. Like you do online, you do
Mhm.
you can do acrylics. I've seen you do sculpting. I've seen you do wood burning. I've seen you do watercolor. You do graphic design on your tablet. So you do digital art. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. So you do all kinds of different things, and then what I kind of envy about what you do is I watch you take simple things and turn them into something. So like, the piece that comes back to me was the one you did of the tree with the mushrooms. It was like a three-dimensional
Oh.
piece. And the mushrooms are actually like 3D and they come off of the she's got to breathe. Come right off the canvas. And that's not something that I as an artist will ever be really good at, is looking at something. I know, I love that piece.
Yeah.
Looking at something ordinary though and saying, "Oh, that would be this,"
Yeah.
right?
Do I have a light that you can see it better, maybe? Yeah,
There
there we
you
go. Yeah, so the lights, yeah, something very 3D about it.
Yeah, and, like, that's something that, people don't necessarily realize is that artists aren't always one medium.
Oh, he's dusty. I haven't touched this in a while. He's
I
just sitting up there with the spiders.
remember when you did it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
When did I do it? Oh, yeah.
at least a year or maybe almost 2 years now.
What year? I don't have the year on this. That would have been smart. Oh, 2024. That was last year.
Yeah, so last year.
That one's fresh. Dusty, but still
Yeah.
fresh.
So, I think that's really cool, and to me, when I look at your work,
Sorry, you're
uh,
getting my Baden.
that's okay.
I'll have to put him back later. I don't remember how I had it. Oh, yeah.
These are
There's
some
the
very
there's
real ones.
the there's the ADHD part of me that has to finish the thought to get into the next one. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, your has always felt very open and very human to me. So, like, I watch what you paint, even some of your nature scenes that you've done in watercolor are there's something in them. There's some kind of emotion, some kind of feeling. Um, and I wonder how much of your own life experience shows up in your art.
I wish I could tell you because I just kind of do it.
Mhm.
Like, when people are like going to put something in the art gallery and they're like, okay, so I need a write up of like who your inspiration was and like how did you plan this? And I'm just like, paintbrush on paper.
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
I envy
know. I
that a
just
little
did
bit too.
it.
So, like, I still have the picture of the one that you did of me sitting on the bench in the mall eating ice cream that day. We were sitting,
Oh yes. Oh
literally
yeah.
sketched this picture of me. She was like, "We need to have ice cream," and she
Yeah.
sent this picture of me eating ice cream and did this little write up about the day. And I still have that in my phone, and it's kind of like, huh?
I don't know what sketchbook that's in. I'm pretty sure
I'm
it's
not
in
sure,
the it's
but this
in one of the tubs.
kind of sat there with a pen and did this quick little sketch of like that moment in time. You sent it to me later that day, or like
Yeah.
on a plane beside you and you sketching little things on the plane that had to do with what we were going through at that point in time.
Oh, I
That always
definitely have that somewhere. I do
that's
have
always
that.
kind of been something I'm envious of, is how you can take like
You just gotta like not think about it. All
mhm,
right, I
you
don't.
overthink everything.
No, I don't have it, but I have something. I
Mhm.
have like this one felt kind of fun. You just like do stuff.
Right. Well,
You
it's
just
like
like
your blobs, right? I'm constantly trying to do
yeah.
blobs and I can't do them.
Well, when you're doing blobs, you gotta like think about it, but not really. You gotta
Hmm.
like kind of it's just a piece of paper. Like, don't be afraid. Like, you have to let go.
Right.
You have to just like you have to let go. You have to trust the process, right? You have to just
The frogs.
yeah, we had to redeem the frog.
Yeah. So Jillian and I spend a lot of time doing stuff outside of these podcasts together. She is local to me, which is kind of nice. Um, but so we're going into the holiday season, and that can be both, yeah, that can be both
Uh,
and like really heavy. Um, as an artist, how does this time of year affect your creativity and your mental health?
mental health is garbage at this point in time. Um, at my job, I need to be creative every day, and that is really hard to do. Like, uh, it's hard to be creative every day when it's not mandatory for your livelihood.
Right.
It's just not possible. Like, you can't rush art, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I've had to find a way to be creative in order to make sure that every one of my customers has the best possible outcome from me. Like,
Right.
I need to push out the best possible product.
Mhm.
Now, the other thing too is I have to remember that my best now is not my best weeks, months, years from now, right?
Right.
So I can't limit myself and try to reach this level of perfectionism. But at the same time, the imposter syndrome and the perfectionism and the fear of failure is always in the back of my mind. Like, is
Mhm.
this good enough? Like, maybe I should touch it again or just make it like I just need to move this. Like, it's really hard. And I'm struggling. I'm feeling the burnout and I'm feeling the overwhelm and just like I'm sick right now because I have burnt myself out. I had a cold, got over it, and now I'm in extra burnout and my body is crashing. So if I'm not making time for wellness, I'm forced to take time for illness. And unfortunately, that's what's happening right now.
And you work in a print house, for lack of a better term. So,
Yes, I work in a
um,
print shop.
print shop, there we go. So, I mean, this is a time of year where people are probably like demands for like deadlines are like crazy, and you've got to work
Everyone and their mother wants something yesterday or for Christmas. And I'm like, you didn't think about this last month?
right.
Like, I'm good, but I'm not that good. And that's not how computers and printers work.
Right.
I do make like the special, like, exception. Like, the other day we had a memorial come in. Like, I want,
Important.
it's kind of important. Like, I did what I could, but it was
Right.
really pushing it. And like, I did have to charge a rush fee because I had to bump 6 other people to get them up. So,
Right. I know I've
unfortunately.
quite often sent things through to you that you've made look pretty and better, so I appreciate that. Um,
Not to say that yours weren't good, you just haven't practiced graphic design and
no,
all
I've
that
let
stuff in
that
a
kind of
while.
go. Yeah, I'm like 25 years out of school for that. So, um, so I know you're going away for the holidays,
I
right?
am, yes.
You're going to the East Coast, I think.
Yes. On Saturday morning at 4 a.m., we're traveling to PEI for the first time since 2023.
Yeah, because I don't think you've gone in the last few years that I remember.
We went December 2022, into 2023 because I remember we did like a picture where we were drawing with light and it was 2023. Yeah. So
Right.
so we went December 2022.
Are you hoping for inspiration while you're out there? Because I mean, the East Coast is pretty
I'm just hoping that like
and time off.
I'm just time off, 2 weeks time off. I'm gonna feel so good. I'm gonna nap while Eric drives to Ottawa, and then I'm gonna watch him go through Montreal, and then I'm gonna sit until we get to Edmundston, and we're gonna go
Hmm.
to bed, and then we're gonna trek the rest of the way to PEI.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm kind of curious. What does a real creative day look like for you? So not a day that's creative for work, but a day that's creative for you. Is it,
Huh.
messy, distracted, joyful, exhausted, or all of the above? Like, what does a creative day look like?
So let's say the perfect creative day
Mhm.
is where I'm not tired and I have everything in order. Um, Definitely hours spent on Pinterest scrolling because I can. Uh, Depending on the weather, outside or inside,
We've done that together too.
we have. I have a beautiful deck and a backyard, so I sometimes paint outside with
Mhm.
my patio set, but it is winter right now, so I sit in my this is a corner. I am in a corner.
Mhm.
It's messy. It's very, very messy, cluttered.
Yeah,
Um, there's cat
guilty.
sand everywhere because cats have litter boxes and they step in there, and I have dirty little boys and they like to roll in their litter. So
Hey, I
it's
have two
everywhere.
neighbors who do the same thing, so
Your
maybe
kids
not the
roll in
litter,
your litter?
but,
Oh.
they come in with their shoes on and
It's just everywhere, and it doesn't matter how much I clean, like, I can never keep it clean, and that's, like, it is what it is, though. Like, this is probably the comfiest I've ever been in an apartment.
mhm,
So, very messy, very cluttered, but I got my solitudes or my
mhm.
Enya playing. I've got probably 3 different crafts going on at a time. There's either like a painting day going on, depending on what type of paints. So I got
Mhm.
acrylics, I got watercolors, either or I'm
If not
sculpting, or
both.
yeah, or right now I have like 3 bins of like material under my desk because I was making a chicken, a round chicken for
Okay.
Eric's class because his students said that the next pet that we got had to be named Bubbles Giggle Jr. And I said, absolutely not. So I sculpted them a chicken, and it is the fluffiest thing. And I used my fluffy material.
Okay.
So now it's their class pet. It just sits on his desk. It's pretty cute. I
So
kind of want to make 10, but I've only made one because I usually only have the energy to make one of something.
right. For
So there's
people that
that.
don't know, your husband's an elementary school teacher, right? I think
Yes,
upper
yes.
elementary?
He is he prefers grade 6, 7 because he finds that they're more mature and
Mhm.
you can a lot more responsibility to them and you're not as worried about the drama. I mean, there's still drama, don't get me wrong. Like these
Oh,
7,
no.
8s, like we've always been. But he teaches 7, 8, and because Cyrus just jumped into a box head first.
Um, so you do a piece every month for Eric's class, correct?
Yes, I do. I try to anyway. Last month I gave them a art battle piece. Do you remember the mice with the snowman?
Yes.
And they were like, but this one wasn't from this year. This is an old one. And they were like, it's cute, but it's not this year. And I was like, well, you
I
got
ran
one
out of
though.
time. So that's
uh,
else
yeah.
that we have in common that people, may not know is that we both competed in art battles.
Yeah.
Just 20-minute live painting competitions that are voted on, and somebody's crowned a winner at the end, and you can advance and different things. And we used to travel to North Bay and Sudbury, and I have done Thunder Bay, Montreal, or Thunder Bay, Quebec City, and Brampton as well. Um, but that, you and I used to get quite messy during those. And, I used to keep my paintbrushes and you used to splash paint everywhere. Um,
Yeah. It was fun that way though.
but they were fun and they kind of pushed boundaries a little bit for artists, I think. And it kind of gave, I know for me, that was where I could kind of let go and not focus on things.
Yes. Well, you
And,
had no choice. You had to do it like now.
and um, we may be bringing back a live painting event soon in support of the North Bay Serenity Hospice.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Us
a little bit
hosting?
different, but not, yeah, something I'll have to give you details on later, but, I did have a meeting with them last week, so, um
Interesting.
that whole dinner theater kind of idea we were tossing out?
Yes, so that it's not art battle.
Yeah, um,
Because, oh, I found him.
oh oh, he's cute. He's
Anyway,
cute.
yeah.
Um, so what are some challenges that have surprised you most about being a working artist in Northern Ontario?
I feel like nothing surprises me anymore. Um, challenges? Like, that surprised me.
Mhm. So, for example, one artist that I was talking to last week who was in Northern Threads is a potter up in Hearst. And one of her biggest challenges, surprisingly enough, in this day and age, is getting clay shipped to her. So her clay freezes if it's left on the truck at this time of year, which happens constantly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, so Marie Jose was saying that that's a big challenge that she has that slows her down over the course of the winter. Um, but like supply chain here is not terrible because we have Kings, we have Good Atlas now, which has been a godsend. We have
It's
Cycle.
way too close to me. I go and spend all
Yeah,
my money there.
um, but we have some local places now that are kind of supporting the north as well because they're
Yeah.
small. But there's other challenges I think that face northern artists.
Actually, not super surprising, but like that it was like, huh, really? Was our art communities are very cliquey.
Mhm.
That is kind of like, really? Because you're all losers like me. Like we should all be friends. Why are you being like this? Uh, we
Absolutely.
we the same. We the same. Just because you have more time than me, because you're on like your own.
Mhm.
It doesn't. It's like I have a job and I don't have time to volunteer all the time. And
Mhm.
that's somehow offensive and means that I can't be a part of your art group.
Yeah, I find that right?
it, it's very clicky and I find it kind of a little bit surprising. That's my one
Mhm.
thing because I don't have issues with getting material. Like
Right.
I don't have like North Bay is a small community, so like the niche, I'm expecting it to be small. I'm expecting not to make a lot of sales unless I'm like literally TikTok famous or whatever, right?
That's the other thing though, like is even getting into, getting a show somewhere is more challenging because you're a northern artist that doesn't have funds to be able to ship your stuff
Mhm.
or,
Yep.
and I noticed that, applying for certain things, as much as no names mentioned, but as much as, or organizations say it's not, it is largely about who you know
Yeah.
and your reputation leading up to the application.
Mhm. And how you apply and what you're applying with and what
Yeah.
you put into your application, what you have pre-made or what you are available to make in this very short window and how much you can pump out. Um, it's very, as much as art isn't supposed to be in a box, they
Hmm.
very much try to put you in a box. And it's not really worth it to do a lot of the local things around here because either it's all the same people or it's from this same group or you don't you get these deadlines and you're like, I have to work and
Yeah.
you want me to do
Or the
like
deadline's 2 weeks.
you want me to make 3 resume like paragraph, not just like you want me to make like MLA format like
Mhm.
storybook about each of my pieces for like $5. Like no.
No, I know. I've experienced the same thing. You know that.
Mhm.
Um, so you do illustrations as well for children's books and different things. And I know
Yes.
that's largely digital. Um,
It's a bit of both because like galleries are hard to get into,
mhm,
but finding other creatives, whether they're artists or authors, we have a lot of those.
mhm,
Now, all of the authors I have illustrated for are local. I have illustrated for 3 children's book authors and 2, I would say, more adult themed authors.
okay.
So I just done covers for the 2 adult themed authors. They were just like memoirs or stories where they just required covers. So there wasn't much like in the character design or anything like that. But the children's book ones, I did 3 different authors from North Bay, Port Perry, and Sudbury
Right.
or Sturgeon. One of those. Anyway, um, so working with them was really fun. But there are their challenges because we are so small town and local, like they're just starting out, right? So they
Right.
don't really fully know what goes into story making.
Mhm.
So we ran into like money issues and like all these other things that just like if they had sat for a minute and
Mhm.
really like tried to
So
think about the price of things
right. So you're kind of
before
both
going into it.
learning as you go.
Yeah, it was a lot of learning as we go because my first book I had done with Kim St. Onge, who got me started in all this, and it was so wonderful. But she decided to self-publish, which is a lot harder.
Hmm.
But you have to kind of weigh the difference because if you're self-publishing, you get all the money, but you're paying everything up front.
Right.
But if you publish with a publisher, you're getting like pennies, but they pay for most of it, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to decide because I worked with both. Because Maggie Sullivan,
Hmm.
the one from Sudbury or Sturgeon, I'm not remembering that correctly. Sorry, Maggie.
That's okay.
She has a publisher,
Right.
so I only got paid for the illustrations, which is fine. But I didn't get any royalties. That's fine.
Hmm.
Um, but the book is like more public. I didn't have to market it. Whereas
Right.
with Kim's and Darlene's, I'm the one marketing, and it's more me on the ground doing the footwork.
Mhm. Right.
So you
And
have
I
to
know
kind of
about
decide. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I know about that, and it's challenging as an author because a lot of
Mhm.
the even the self-publishing platforms, you could sell 40 books or 50 books or 100 books, but you don't get paid for a number of months between the time the sale. Like I sold books in, I think September, October. No, yeah, end of October that I've not been paid out yet for because of the payment schedule. So
Yep.
it's really a challenge in that sense, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean there are some ways of circumventing some of that, but when you're selling to
Yeah.
an unknown audience, there isn't.
Yeah. And it's really a gamble. Like, I loved working with the authors and just feeling that creative energy
Mhm.
and being inspired by their stories and, having the ability to talk with them and try to bring
Mhm.
their vision to life through their words and through my art. But children's books are really like in a weird spot right now because
Mhm.
like I don't know, like there's so much digital media. Kids are on their phones, their games, they're on the
Yeah,
screen. There's not a lot of reading books at bedtime or just sitting reading a book because you have nothing better to do, right? You have
right.
screens. So to sell a book nowadays is kind of like, I love that my laundry's done. We're doing laundry so that we don't have to do it while we're trying to go to bed on Friday.
Gotcha.
uh, yeah. Yeah, it's hard selling books. And like I
Mm.
find that most of my sales came from people that I knew and hardly any came from strangers. So
Right.
it's hard up north. It
Mhm.
is. So unless you're in a place like Toronto where you get all this foot traffic, like it's not
Right.
really going to happen. Or if you have this big following, like it's not going to happen because
Yeah.
just like books
And
are weird.
even like, the shipping costs up here are crazy. I just shipped a copy of my new book out to somebody that we know mutually in Saskatchewan, to a
I
young
know someone in
artist.
Saskatchewan.
Yes, to a young artist who recently relocated there in the summer. Artist child, you taught them.
Saskatchewan.
Come on. Phenomenal artist, sold pieces in the gallery.
Oh,
Yeah, so they just relocated and I
I
just
thought they
shipped.
were going to Alberta.
No,
Or
no, Saskatchewan.
okay,
So I sold a copy to their dad because this
okay,
child is mentioned in the book,
right.
and dad wants to give it to them as a gift. And to ship one copy of that book in a bubble mailer cost $26.
See, that doesn't seem like an issue to me because I expect everything to be in the hundreds of dollars now.
Yeah, but to ship like one book, so for somebody, that is, selling their own,
Yeah, it's like you got to think about those
you've got to
things.
consider that. And that's one of the downfalls that like I'm not in the business of shipping tons of my books,
No,
but that's like Canada Post general shipping.
yeah.
It wasn't
So
the
you do
fast.
it yourself,
Yeah,
but or you go through a publisher who will do that for you, but
right.
you get like a couple
And like
cents,
even the
right?
self-publishing forums, they can buy online and have it direct shipped to them at a lesser cost. But not everyone is going to find it on that site or whatever, and then it's going to
Mhm.
sit there and you don't get paid out for 30, 60, 90 days. So it really is kind
Yeah,
of a thing,
it's
you
a
know.
niche thing. It's like
Yeah,
you gotta have a following ahead of time sort of thing.
exactly. So you taught kids through the
Yes.
gallery when we had it,
Yes.
um and that kind of started kind of off the cuff and kind of just with an kind of an introductory conversation, um, that we, kind of met over. But I wondered how you balance sharing your art and your life publicly while still protecting your energy and your boundaries. Because
I wish you could tell me. I wish I knew because I don't know. I don't do that.
yeah, I know, neither do I. Not well, anyways. So, okay. Um, so I guess, yeah, that's kind of something we're both working on and learning. We'll leave it at that. What advice would you give to somebody who feels called to create but is afraid that they're not good enough or not ready to?
Well, afraid that they're not good enough. Um, well, what would make you think that you're not good enough? If it's comparing yourself to other people, then I would ask you, are you comparing Picasso to Bob Ross? Is one better than the other? No, they're just different, right? You're just different than the person sitting next to you. Your hands have different muscles. Your experiences in life are different than the person sitting next to you. You know, we sit and do those sip and paint nights, and you're all trying to paint the same picture and you're following the same instructions, but everyone's comes out different
Right.
because you're all different. If you're truly worried about how good you are, um, then practice makes progress. You
Right.
just have to work at it. Like, I'm not gonna go in and try to lift 500 pounds. I'll break my back. I got to start at 10 pounds, 20 pounds, you know?
Really? You're not?
No, I can't. I'm old now. I think I'm actually 40, like you thought I was.
Yes, I did. I did. Um, so what if they think they're not ready? What would be your advice to somebody to get them to take that first step
Well, it's
to
really hard to put yourself out there. I think that was one of my biggest, and still is one of my biggest issues, is art is so personal. Like, you're putting a piece of your soul into it, basically. Like, it's hard to take criticism on something that you are putting yourself into. So if you're not ready, you're not ready. But you also don't know the outcome. Don't put words into other people's mouths. So if they
Mhm.
haven't said anything, then they haven't said anything. How do you know unless you try, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's
Something
only
we
paper,
yeah,
so
something we saw in the kids a lot was, they didn't think they could, or I can't. It was a big thing that we saw.
yeah, there's a lot of that they weren't thinking they were capable of until they had that push. And
Mhm.
sometimes they're not going to get that push. So they
Right.
have to want to do it. But you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. So unless they want to, unless they're given the opportunity and shown that they can, I
Mhm.
like it's hard. It really is. Like, the only reason I actually started showing my sketchbooks to people was because eventually there were people who were like, "Hey, that's cool," and
Right.
didn't go, "Why are your babies naked?" Mom,
Yeah,
you'll know what that means.
it's a good point though. If they're not given the opportunity to try or the
Yeah,
opportunity to learn,
if
you
they
know,
don't have that opportunity, that person that's like, "Hey,
yeah. Like,
why
I
not
think back
try?"
to, so back in the day before you joined us, we used to take our young people who were exhibiting in the gallery to Art Factory in Renfrew. And Patrick did this free art fair once every summer or twice every summer. And we would load everything in a U-Haul and take everything out of the gallery down for a day.
That sounds like a
And
lot of work.
it was, but it was also really great because it was free, but it was also sort of curated. So everyone there was a true working artist.
Mhm.
So the young people, and I won't say kids because they were over the age of probably 18, but the young people that came with us, who were also selling their own stuff, had the opportunity to interact with all these different artists in one spot. And they were all there for the same purpose. But on one of my trips there, Patrick actually gave us a bunch of sketchbooks and watercolor pads and different things. And he gave us a couple of tubes, not a lot, but a couple of tubes of really high end watercolors that I think have actually made it back here that I plan to give to you because I don't do watercolor. But
You should.
anyways, I think there was like 4 or 5 different colors. And his reason for it was that, if the kids aren't exposed to what's out there, they never know the difference
Yeah.
it can make.
How
And I
would
thought
you know?
profound, over 4 or 5 tubes of
Yeah.
paint, that could make the difference for somebody between. And I mean, he was thinking about it as, if they don't get to experience high-end supplies, they don't know the difference between dollar store and high-end.
Mhm.
Um, so why not make it available to them to at least try? Not everyone's going to be able to afford it or keep going, but I thought that was quite a profound statement that he kind of made in that little gesture.
Mhm.
Mm, and I watch what he's built, and it's phenomenal. One day you and I are going to go. You'll be When you go through on your way to Ottawa, you're leaving at 4 a.m. He won't be open, so you can't stop and run through. But possibly on the way back. I don't know what time you plan on hitting it, but
I don't know
it's a
what time.
phenomenal art here.
I
Um,
should. I'd
and
be hard pressed to convince Eric to get in there though.
okay, so you and I day trip one day.
Yeah.
But it's seeing people go out of their comfort zone to build something that nobody else believes in is kind of the beauty of art too.
Well, if
Yeah,
I didn't stop and go, I deserve it, and walk into your art gallery, I never would have
that's
thought.
right. You just kind of walked in one day.
Because I walked past and I was like, because I had just come from Yes Employment, because I had just gotten fired because I have ADHD and a service dog, and they did not like that.
Right.
Was never said on paper, but when I tried to prove myself that I was in the right, everything on my computer was wiped and I could not log back on. So,
Exactly. So,
but if
but
I had not gone, yeah, I deserve to walk into something today, and turned myself around and walked in and been like, hey, can I sell art? Also, can I teach stuff? I never would have known
right.
all the things that I could do.
And you and
See,
I have done some pretty crazy stuff in the last 3 years.
pretty sure I was huddled in a corner having COVID the other year. Was it last
Yes,
year?
that was an art battle in Sudbury. You were like, you drove
Heard.
and you were fine, and we thought you just had a cold, and then yeah, you fell
I
asleep in
don't.
the floor of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's a really big point though, is opportunity knocks when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Um, because we were struggling. I mean, we always struggled, but we were struggling trying to find people that wanted to be involved. And then you came along, and the neat thing about you that I don't even think you realize about yourself is that you're so eager and willing to jump in when something needs to be done, sometimes to a detriment. We've had that conversation. Um, but you were always there when something needed to happen.
Well,
For,
that
you know,
probably comes from the if I don't do it, it's not gonna happen, or who else is gonna do it, or I'm free right now, so I might as well. Like,
yeah, we kind of both do that.
yeah, it's kind of the people pleasing and the putting everyone ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So, the last question I want to ask is, when things feel overwhelming to you, especially like we're heading into winter and we're heading into, seasonal and all that stuff, what helps bring you back to yourself? Is it your art?
I wish I knew. Because currently we're working on that. Um, Mental health is not a linear healing path,
Right.
and the older I get, the more I'm learning about myself, to my detriment, because I stayed in a state of being that was survival and conforming and masking and just trying to survive, to
Right.
fit in. So now that I'm an adult, and I don't care what people think of me, I now care a lot about what is going on with me, and I'm trying to heal. But because of the learned box that I had to sit in, basically, trying to come out and just be is actually horrifying. it's horrible. I'm in a constant state of overwhelm. I am just anxious and like trying so hard to
Mhm.
exist but be good to myself. And it's hard. Like
Mhm.
I'm in therapy right now because I still don't know how to exist as an adult, and I have this fear that I never will. But the other end is I'm still learning that there is a way to get back to balance,
Mhm.
and without getting too guru about it, I gotta like mellow out, find my zen. Art is going to be a big part of that.
Mhm.
Learning to do art for myself is another big thing. Um, I think it was actually my mamere who had coined the term "don't commit emotional suicide" by creating for everyone but yourself. Because that's where I'm at. I don't create for me anymore. I
Right.
don't make my little stories. I don't scribble on the page. Every time I'm in my sketchbook lately, it is about making something that I can show
Mhm.
to social media or people, not something for myself.
Right.
There is that fear again where I have to make something to show other people so that it's not questioned. So it's not showing someone and they're recoiling or going, "Why are your babies naked?"
No, I get.
Yeah. So I need to find my life balance, my work life balance,
Mhm.
which hasn't exactly existed in a very long time. I have to find a way to bring myself into a state of I'm going to draw for myself and not worry about what other people think of me. Even though I say I don't, there's always that in the back of my head. People are going to see this.
Mhm.
So we got to zhuzh it up a little.
I do the same thing.
We gotta. Oh, I know you do. I know you do. And
Yep.
and I will say, like, just let go. Just be loose with it. Like it's just a piece of paper.
Mhm.
Do what I say, not as I do, though.
Yeah. You tried to teach me.
Yeah, because like there are sketchbooks that I will not open because I'm like, there's my ticket to hell. Oh, are we sure we want to share this with anyone?
Right.
Because that was the escape. I don't escape anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, we've kind of made this, I'm sure you've seen our posts lately of like Sunday afternoons we get down and, we just like the one day we had the Fimo out and the one day we painted ornaments and, we
Hmm.
both have a sketchbook that we will do Zentangling in, just to kind of like lose it and do something that
Yeah.
doesn't have to be perfect. But I find even with that, we still try to be perfect.
Zentangle is also something that can be perfect.
Yes.
There
So,
is an element of chaos that can be perfect.
right. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. But
Yeah.
anyways, we're at about the 53-minute mark. So we're going to taper things
We could
off.
talk for hours.
We could, and we
We
don't catch up
could.
enough anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm going to ask Jill just to stay on the line while I end the recording,
Hmm.
and we'll catch up with everyone else in 2 weeks. So have a wonderful holiday and a happy Christmas, and thank you, Jillian.